and welcome to another edition of NFSTC's Forensic Update. Did you know that National Forensic Science Week is August 11th to the 17th? In honor of this event, we are kicking off an occasional series of interviews with subject matter experts. Today's topic, familial DNA searching. I was able to sit down recently and talk via Skype with Mitch Morrissey, elected District Attorney of Denver, Colorado. Mr. Morrissey is internationally recognized for his expertise in DNA technology, applying it in criminal prosecutions, and working to ensure that DNA science is admissible in court. He is also president of the National Forensic Science Technology Center. We learned a lot about this hot topic for investigators, so let's take a look. Thanks very much for joining us today, Mitch. We're going to be talking about familial DNA. Now, for those who are unfamiliar, that means using a DNA profile of an unknown male suspect, running it against a DNA database, and seeing if the suspect has male relatives in that database, thereby narrowing down the search. Why is this only used to identify males? Does it only work with male DNA?
No, it doesn't. In fact, there's some famous cases where familial DNA searching was used both in the UK and in New Zealand to identify male perpetrators through their sisters who were in the DNA database. Probably the best known example would be James Lloyd. He was called the shoe rapist in the UK. He raped numerous women. When his sister went into the database for a DUI conviction that she had, they were able to identify him through a familial search and then a conventional investigation. The conventional investigation is harder because there's an interim DNA test that you can run on the Y chromosome that males carry that eliminates a lot of the potential candidates. You can't do that type of elimination because you have a woman involved, because women don't have Y chromosomes.
And are these searches only done using local or state databases, or do some agencies use the National CODIS database?
It's not used on the National CODIS database. Familial searching is done at the state level. In the states that it's done in the United States, there's about 7 states currently that are working on using familial searching. There are 3 states, Colorado, California, and Virginia, Wyoming, that actually do it, so it's 4 states. But they use their state database. You could obviously use it in a local database. We've done that in Denver in our research, and you could use it on the national level, but currently it's confined to state databases. The reason that's important is about 85% of your CODIS hits from the CODIS database in regular DNA testing comes from your state database. Criminals, perpetrators tend to stay near their homes, and because of that, most of your hits come there. So what I've seen and what I believe is that familial searching is most effective in the United States if it's used at the state level.
Now, there's been a great deal of discussion about the pros and cons of using DNA to narrow down the search for a suspect by potentially identifying family members. In your opinion, what's the most important argument for using this kind of searching?
Well, in a major investigation where you have a serial rapist or a serial murderer in your community, this is a technique that allows you to save money, save time, it promotes justice, it helps you eliminate innocent people, and keep in mind that when you're talking about the constitutionality of familial searching, we're talking about abandoned DNA that's left at a crime scene. Nobody has a reasonable expectation in that DNA. It's abandoned. So under the Fourth Amendment, you have no expectation of privacy there. We've already run that DNA profile through the database, and we know the individual that we're looking for is not there. So it's a search of somebody else's DNA with abandoned DNA from the person you're looking for. That person that you're looking for has no standing under the Fourth Amendment to complain about the search. He's not in the database. The DNA that you're using, he left at a crime scene, so he has no expectation of privacy. So a lot of the debate around familial searching and privacy and racial issues and those kinds of things really are red herrings. And what they tend to do is scare people. And this is a technology that helps exonerate innocent people and helps us catch some of the worst predators that are on our streets, raping and murdering the women and children in our communities. And that's why I think familial searching is important.
Okay, and what's the most prevalent argument against this type of searching?
Well, again, they raise privacy issues, but when you get down to the analysis of the Fourth Amendment, like I talked about, there are no privacy concerns. The other thing that they say is that there's an overrepresentation of people of color in our criminal justice system. Therefore, there's an overrepresentation of people of color in our DNA databases. And if you use familial searching, you're going to catch a larger proportion of people of color. And my response to that is always, remember, in the United States, for instance, in 2005, the African American community was about 11 to 13% of our population. They were 49% of the homicide victims that year. This is a science that helps us catch murderers and rapists. Between 2001 and 2005, African American women were raped twice as often as white or Hispanic women. Again, this is a technology that helps us catch those kinds of sexual predators. And I believe the people that live in those communities deserve that law enforcement use the tools that they have to bring those people to justice. Those are the two main arguments against familial searching, but primarily they're about scaring people out of doing this important work.
Can you point us to some resources that could help people better understand the issue?
Well, we have a page on the Denver DA website that is devoted just to familial searching. So if you go to denverda.org, go to the DNA resource section, look for the familial searching section. You click on that, you'll see every case where familial searching has been used to catch the offender. Most of them are in the UK, but we have cases from New Zealand. We have the cases in the United States. California just recently got a conviction on Elvis Garcia on a familial search that was done in Santa Cruz, a very successful prosecution. So it's something new in the United States. We have about 7 or 8 states that are using it. We helped California develop their whole system. We have given our software now to 7 other states besides Colorado, and familial searching is starting to have an impact in our country.
Hi, Mr. Morrissey, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here on the NFSTC Forensic Update.
Well, NFSTC is one of my favorite organizations. I really appreciate the fact that you contacted me on such an important issue, and have a nice day.
Round and round we go for this week's Technique of the Week. Scott Campbell of Ron Smith & Associates is back with another installment of his Collecting Tire Exemplars presentation. Click on the embedded link for part 5 of the 7-part series. Well, that's it for this edition of NFSTC's Forensic Update. I'd like to thank Mr. Mitch Morrissey for joining us this week, and thank you for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Bill Duffin for NFSTC.